Oh, you caught me dabbling on my handy dandy notebook or notepad, whatever. Blue's Clues back in the day. Handy dandy. I can't hear it. Lost the effect already. Notebook. Anyway, so what are we saying here? We're saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is for you, wherever you are on the static planet, also known as planet Earth, I guess. Or Windsor, Ontario. That's where we're from. That's where that guy, whatever, the guy next to me, damn it. That's where he's from, too. We are the border town right across from Detroit, Michigan. Kind of give you an idea where we are on the almighty map of the world. Anyways, my name is Michael John of Michael John's Paranormal Ghost Stories. I'm your co-ghost host, along with the man next to me. He's the man of the hour, the man of the power, too sweet to be sour. The guy who I've known since 5th grade. My BFF, maybe not your BFF, but he's my BFF. God damn it. Dale, high spirits, Quigley, right over there, always laughing, always smiling no matter what. I don't know what's going on over there. I can't imagine. The guy's sober. So what's going on? Imagine? Wow, that's crazy. Anyways, always having fun. And that's what it's all about here. So, yes, here we are. The voice of the paranormal. The voice for the paranormal. Windsor, Ontario's own The Paranormal Voice. I went blank there. Oh my God. You almost had to take over. Sorry. Now, what's cool, what's going on here? Well, we got a couple things. We got some things to talk about as I drop stuff on the floor. I am just a shambles over here. I don't know why. I'm so excited about our guest. I'm so excited about a couple of announcements we've got as well. I think, Dale, we're going to get to the brass tacks of the announcements. There's something very near and dear, very important, very heartfelt, very important to talk about first and foremost before we do anything else. And I will let you have the reins on that. Please go ahead.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. For the people who are watching live right now and the people that are going to be watching us a little bit later on. So right now, as you can see right in the bottom of our screen, we do have a QR code that's going on in the corner of the screen. Now, as everybody knows, everybody in the paranormal field has heard the news by now. Our good friend Daniel Class has daughter Shaylee has been diagnosed with a bone cancer. So we here in the paranormal field are all coming together for Dan, who has been such a great friend to all of us, who's been out there and helping people left and right and giving his own time and helping people like live their dreams in the paranormal field. So this is our way to kind of help the family to help get through this time with his daughter. I mean, 13 years old and having to deal with cancer. It is such a heartbreaking news. So please, everybody, you will see this QR code in the down corner of the screen. It is going to be up on the show for as long as it possibly has to be there. So I'm asking you, myself and Michael John, to please help out Daniel Class and his beautiful family to help their daughter get through this difficult time, because I'll tell you, it's not something that I believe a child needs to go through, but at the same time, it's part of her journey now, and we're all supporting her. Everybody, please keep them in their prayers. And if you can, please donate to the GoFundMe page that is the QR code that's on there. Or at least, you know what, share out the GoFundMe page on all your social medias. Help Dan. Like I said, he's been a great guy from day one. He is like one of the genuine, most passionate people we know. So we want to be with his family at this time, and by helping them out. And like I said, a little goes a long way with these guys, and even sharing out the QR code and look at all your social medias, because I know everybody in the paranormal field's coming together to do what they can to help out Dan and his family. So please help them out. And yeah, like I said, prayers up for you, Shaylee. You know, we've got your back.
Thank you, Dale. That's exactly it. A really good cause, a really good family. One of the beloved members of the paranormal world, Daniel Class and his family, of course. A little bit does go a long way. Anything you can do, just to even share the QR code if you're able to make a donation, however that resonates, whatever you can do to be involved, it's greatly appreciated. Now, we got something else on the bottom of the screen underneath me. It's called Ghost Hunts at the Western Block. That is right in Buffalo, New York, folks. Correct, Dale?
Lockport, New York.
Lockport, New York. God,
yes.
I'm mixing the name up and the cities. Good thing I checked with you backstage and not live on the air. Wow, that's amazing, Michael. Wow, there you go. I'm going to shut my microphone and camera off right now. Anyways, so Ghost Hunts at the Western Block, right there in Lockport, New York. Brought to you, of course, by our good friends, the Buffalo Phantom Hunters. That is Frank Kupka, Heather Van Voos. And this place, the Western Block, what an epic, what a busy, what an energetic place as far as paranormal goes. It doesn't stop there. We were there for a visit one evening. They do tours. They have young ghost hunters during the day with their parents and stuff, which is a really cool opportunity for us to be a part of. And they had some adult tours later that night. We partook in that. And then we got to hang out because we knew some people. We got to hang out by ourselves later. We had an in, if you will. And I mean, there's shadow figures nonstop there, whispering, disembodied voices, whistling, door shuts on command. It's a crazy place. Our good friend Timothy Shaw, they did a live investigation from there. Frank and Heather, Joe Paradis. Tim got pushed, literally, while they're on camera. He got pushed. It was amazing.
Absolutely.
That place is nuts. Speaking of nuts, I mean, this place was featured on not one show, but two different shows. Josh Gates, Expedition X, which is on Discovery Channel. And then you got the one and only Nick Groff formerly of Ghost Adventures fame. He's definitely exploded on his own. Nick Groff's Death Walker. Western Block is featured not only in season 3, but season 4. And you can find a lot of these in any streaming platform, just to name a couple: Apple, Prime, Amazon, Sci-Fi. You can find these episodes with the Western Block. Any information you want to go, hey, that sounds amazing, I want to take a road trip to Lockport, New York. I encourage it for sure. Dale encourages it for sure. Ask us. Maybe we'll come with you. Oh, my God.
Absolutely.
Are you kidding? I want to go right now. I love that place. It's insane. So, anyways, any information you want, how to get there, maybe hotel information, all that good stuff and more. The website is hauntedwesternblock.com. One more time, that is hauntedwesternblock.com.
Absolutely. And that link is also in the description below, so you can click on the description, find the link. But yeah, just want to do a quick shout out to people already coming in the room.
Get my
Brian Uford.
Brian Ufford, of course, that jerk. Anyway, go on.
We've got the lovely Kimberly Sage in the house, and of course, our good friend from Paranormal 222 podcast.
I love that podcast. What a great show.
Absolutely great podcast.
My fingers are getting sore.
We got the lovely Jen Shortage.
Can I stop now? Short range.
You can stop now. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, no, thank you for everybody. And once again, get that QR code in the back. And you know what, that's all helping Dan Class and his family.
Jimmy
and of
Brown.
course, we have Jimmy B in the house. Jimmy, what's going on? So, Michael John, let's talk about our amazing guest that we finally got him here.
Yeah, I was sick when we originally booked. I was sick, and then he had something come up. Well, not come up. He had surgery, and I'm not going to get into it. Maybe he doesn't want me to discuss his business like that, but he had surgery. So it was funny. It was the first time ever. I think he made the comments. The first time ever a guest and a host were actually legitimately unable to attend due to reasons beyond their control. That's the bigger version of it. It was kind of funny that shit was legit, But here we are now. We made it. We landed the plane. This guy, he's been exploring abandoned and haunted places for over 10 years. So he's been busy. And it's funny, every time I'm on social media, on Facebook, on the X, Instagram, the guy's doing something. He's somewhere. He's investigating. He's exploring. The guy, he does ghost hunting. He does urban investigating, which I love, by the way, as much as I love by cryptids, Dogman, of course, my guilty pleasure. The whole urban investigating thing, that's a thing for me too. And if you don't know what that is, folks, that is something I think it's cool. You go into an abandoned building, and some they're just kind of so. There's spray paint on the wall and a couple things. You might find an old wheelchair, maybe an old table, or maybe an old hospital gurney or something, which is cool in its own right. But some of these places, you go in there, it's like they locked the door and went out and just never came back. There's food in the pantry still. All their clothes are hanging up. Their beds are made. There's toys. The TV's still there. Everything is still there. That's crazy. Like a time capsule, if you will. Like some of these are from the 60s, the 70s, you can go on and on about that sort of stuff. What else is really cool about this gentleman? So we were talking about him with him backstage. He lives in Louisville, Kentucky. And if anybody has a clue about the paranormal at all, and I have a clue. I don't have that much of a clue about the paranormal. I don't know much at all. But I do know this. Louisville, Kentucky is the home of Waverly Hills Sanitarium. Now, in 2010, I believe he had his first, he had an incredible ghostly encounter there. And that's where he kind of got the bug to do investigating. And apparently in the years after that, he hung out there. He helped repair, maintain the structure, if you will. He was a tour guide, did the tours, managed the location's social media channels. This guy got them up to 100,000 followers before he left. What a social media presence. No wonder why he's doing so well with what he's doing now. Without further ado, we got to land the plane and let's get this guy out here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Vince Kelien.
You have such a voice for radio. It's incredible.
I appreciate it. That's a dream of mine, brother. You're the third person to say that today. It's the weirdest thing. Synchronicities abound sometimes. But thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. That's very humbling to hear.
Now, Vince, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to us. And as we could see, you're working away because, this guy just does not stop, which is amazing. It's like every time you turn on any social media, like you said, Mike, he is there. He's doing something. He's got something going on. So, Vince, could you tell us what was it that actually got you into the paranormal?
When I was about, I want to say 11, 12 years old, I was being a jackass and running up and down my hallway, and I ran to the back bedroom, jumped on top of the bed, flipped around, and saw a girl crouched over in the corner. Now you become an adult, and you chalk it up to, it was your imagination, or it was your friend, or whatever it could have been. And so that's what I did. Well, I didn't really believe in ghosts, even with that little incident. I was always into like Halloween and like dark shit and just like heavy metal music. And I'm an elder emo, if that's what I think that's what everyone calls it now.
What did you say?
An elder emo.
I thought you said that. Okay, yeah.
And I was just always into dark stuff. Well, when Facebook was popping off and they finally started to allow everyone to join Facebook, it wasn't just a college thing anymore. I saw an ad on Facebook for to be a haunt actor at Waverly.
Ooh.
And I had only ever been one other time. And I got really excited. The place was like dark and mysterious, and the structure was like old Gothic revival. And I was like, you know what? I can probably use this to like weasel my way in to work there. So that's what I did. Whenever it was time for the audition for the hunt, I introduced myself. Somebody told me to look for someone look for a woman with red hair, and I found her. And her name was Tina.
Yeah.
And we hit it off pretty quickly. And she liked the fact that I, at the time, only lived about 5 minutes away. And it started this relationship that went on and on and on up until about 2 years ago. We still have a relationship. I just don't work there anymore. I was actually just up there a couple days ago.
Oh, wow.
But on and off since 2010, started off helping build the haunted house and being a haunt actor. I come in every once in a while and do public overnights. That stemmed into doing privates, publics, special events, running the social media, helping with maintenance, and just doing all kinds of different stuff. Waverly has been my home, like I said, for a long time, and that's where my love for the paranormal started.
Well, okay, so you mentioned, where's it in your bio here?
Mm-hmm.
You did so much stuff. You worked on their social media channels. Tina Mattingly, I had an opportunity to investigate with a group back, I think it was 2008, maybe 2009. What a sweetheart of a lady. And she's still running it then? That's still her deal?
Yeah, she's still there, her and Charlie both.
Okay.
When I was up there the other day, she wasn't there. I guess she was feeling ill. But yeah, all the stuff you know about from like the last 2 years or whatever with the lawsuit and everything, that's all done. Everybody's there. Everyone's good. Everyone's doing what they're supposed to do. So everything's all good.
Good.
That's amazing, and glad to hear. Because Waverly Hills is such an amazing and iconic place. I mean, I can't think of a ghost show that has not had to at least do it at least part of one of their seasons because it's that iconic of a place.
Portals to Hell has never been to Waverly.
Ooh, there you go.
Wow, that was quick. There we go. Yeah. And I'm surprised because I think that would be a place that Jack Osborne would have loved to go on.
I know my shit.
Yeah, I guess.
But no. Tina doesn't like the title.
Okay.
It was just kind of one of those things. Some things stick, some things don't, and
I remember back when I was there, she didn't want to have Ghost Adventures coming there because of the way they handled investigations back then.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, since when was it that you said you went?
It was 08, 09.
Okay, so in 2010, that's when Zach and them came out.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, they came back with Ghost Adventures, not Ghost Hunters Academy, but Ghost Adventures. I can't remember what the spinoff title was.
Okay.
But and then later on down the line, Zach invited Tina and Charlie out to Vegas to have a sit down interview in which he interviewed location owners.
Cool.
How they were affected by their locations and things like that.
Interesting.
But I'm not sure what's going on with Zach these days. I don't know Zach. I did meet him when he came out to Waverly, but I think he's got another show now or something coming out. I don't I don't keep up with too many shows anymore because I'm really busy.
Yeah, you're all over the place. I mean, now I want to kind of go off the beaten path, if you will, paranormal wise. But let's go into the investigating, the urban investigating, and I love that stuff. I mean, how many quote unquote, as I was calling it on your intro there, time capsules have you come across where literally it was literally a turnkey thing? You walk in, the whole house is still there.
just recently, actually, in January, I found an antebellum in upstate New York. It was like the bed. It was like how Rose describes the Titanic. The beds had never been slept in. The sheets had never been slept in. The china had never been used. Type of situation where everything was just so clean. The only thing that was dirty was a layer of dust over everything.
Wow.
What?
This place was so nice and so well, and just nature hadn't overtaken it yet, and it had probably been abandoned 20 years or so.
No kidding.
To the point to where there was to the point to where there was still a VHS in the VHS player. There was a cassette and an old boombox that was sitting in the hallway in its little nook. This place was so cool that I kept it to myself and didn't film it, and just personal experience.
Appreciate that for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot out there. I mean, YouTube, there's been some people they just get, I mean, that is not a dime a dozen to come across that sort of a thing, correct?
It's very, very difficult to come across something like that.
But that's why you do it. That's the gold, right?
Yep. I personally have some friends and some buddies who will literally urbex anything. If it's a house, if it's a hospital, an asylum,
yep,
doesn't matter what it is, a theme park, doesn't matter, they'll do it.
Okay.
I like to stick to hospitals and asylums and mansions if they're feasible. And it's probably because I'm biased, but keeping the history alive essentially is my whole thing. So when you urbex, you don't typically give away location names.
Right.
I do on purpose.
Okay.
And it's not for people to go in and destroy a location. Now, if there is a location that is just like untouched, I won't say anything. I probably won't even film the location. I'll go through to experience the location for myself and bounce. But if there is a location that has seen its better days and has obviously, been ran through by graffiti artists and vandals and stupid kids, then I'll name drop. And not for vandals to come in and screw it up, but for owners to be like, well, what is he doing on our building for?
Okay.
I want someone to see. I want someone of whoever owns it, a family member, whatever, to be into it, to be into that sort of thing. Scrolling through, they see their dad or their grandpa's location pop up on YouTube, and they're like, oh. And then they go tell whoever, and they're like, well, what the fuck are they doing in my building? Well, asshole, you've been letting it sit here and ruin and decay for over a decade.
Right.
I'm trying to show you that this is something that people want to see.
Right.
Yeah.
You're missing out on money. You're letting a building crumble when it shouldn't be crumbling. You're letting nature take over, whatever the case. And whether it is a private owner or it's the state of Alabama or the state of New York, I don't give a fuck. I want those location owners to see that. And very rarely do they ever, which is fine. But maybe one day before that location owner, says their last piece to the world, maybe they'll see it out of kind of nowhere and they'll just be like, oh, well, okay. Well, too late now, but I want one of those location owners to see it, and I want something to come from it.
That's awesome. So to this date, what would you say would be the oldest place you've probably been inside of?
That's abandoned or owned and operated.
Let's go with abandoned.
The Hudson River State Hospital in Poughkeepsie, New York, dates back to 1829.
Wow.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of condition was that place in?
fallen through to the point of disrepair. But here's the thing, though, is that I commend the state for what they're doing. The Hudson River State Hospital is under the preservation works. So if either one of you have seen any of those posts being popped up from the Buffalo State Hospital or Hudson River State Hospital or whatever the case, Hudson River is under the preservation works, which means that there's this company that's coming in and fixing up all these locations and turning them into whatever they possibly can. So with Hudson River State Hospital, the main building is a Kirkbride. So if you know anything about older locations, you know the Charles Kirkbride, old architecture builder and designer and stuff like that. So they're going to preserve the Kirkbride. They're going to fix it up, and they have been already. They've put a new roof on the Kirkbride, and they went in and from what I understand, they've put some new floor joists in. They've been working on it, whatever the case. The female north wing and the male south wing are all being demolished because they've been hit by lightning strikes, too many vandals breaking things and stuff like that. So those are going away. But the main Kirkbride is getting set up for a museum.
Oh, nice.
And in that museum, they'll have things from all of the hospital that they'll show in this museum, from old stained glass window frames with the stained glass still in them to doors that are original to the hospital to old mobile like operation tables and stuff like that. So this whole Kirkbride is going to be like a dedication museum to everything. And I really commend the foreman for everything, because over the last decade they've been working on this, but they've also had to work on other things for the state of Poughkeepsie, because right next to it is a brand new grocery store along with like a shopping center, and they've been taking things from the hospital and using it as decor on these buildings. So preserving history. Who would have thought?
Right.
So they took a bunch of the old stained glass windows that have windows broken out in them. They're the old heavy steel glass frames that like go like this, and they're designed really funny and stuff like that. They break out the rest of the windows, they sand it down, they sandblast it, and then they put coats of paint on it, and then weld little slats together, and then and then they'll bolt it to a wall. Boom, decor.
Right.
But it's preservation. It doesn't matter how you're doing it. At least they're doing something.
Right.
Yes.
And here's the thing, though, is that people don't know about it. So like they're walking through this little, shopping center, and they see like this really cool like metal decorative piece, and they're like, oh, that's cool. They keep walking, not realizing that window is over 200 years old, and that and that it was once in an insane asylum.
Wow.
So it's very neat what they're doing. And Preservation Works is also over like Buffalo State Hospital, Letchworth Village, and a couple other big abandoned locations that no one thought would ever see the light of day. Crescent Sanatorium being another one. There's a few. But 1826.
Wow.
Actually, it might actually be 1823. I'd have to go back and look, but yeah, that's the oldest location abandoned that I've ever been to.
And I want to ask, with these buildings, I mean, how do you find these places? And what I mean by that, I'm going to expand on that. What steps do you take to even locate these? Do you have people, hey, by the way, Vince, guess what? They ring your phone, they send you an email. How does it start? I
have a lot of friends that I have a lot of friends, AJ being one, and Taylor being another. Val helps me out with some locations too. And there's some other urbexers out there that kind of dig the cause, like getting these location owners to kind of see, hey, if you would just simply do something about this, we would pay to come here. You wouldn't have to. We wouldn't have to trespass. We wouldn't have to. We wouldn't have to go behind your back to see the building. And so sometimes I'll get tipped off from other explorers, or sometimes I'll just simply go on Google Earth and I'll scan a location that I'm going to, that for a state that I'll be in. I'll scan some locations.
Yep.
It just depends. I mean, I get locations in many different ways and forms.
I know there's a lot of sites out there too, because I know here in Canada, for instance, they have a website. It's called Abandoned Ontario. And
Yeah.
you can go on, and people will send out pictures of locations, like just driving down a back road somewhere, and they see this place and they just take a picture of it and they throw it up on this site and said this is, and then people start going, and they'll start filling in the history of what they know about the building.
Yeah.
And then it's so yeah, I mean that is absolutely amazing to do what you do and to bring to light some of these amazing places, because why are they forgotten all of a sudden when they should be, because somebody still has to flip the bill for that property. So why are they not doing something with it to either create money for it so that's not coming out of their pocket, or at the same time, like you said, there'd be a lot of people who would love to explore those types of buildings, and because of the history, the stories behind it, and they're in every state, every country around the world for sure.
Yep.
And I want to point out for everybody watching right now, and I'll give a little more information, like explanation for KGRA Digital, where you'll only be listening that Saturday nights at 1 a.m. Of course, got the harmless plug in there. Vince is sitting there dabbling away. He's tinkering away. He's not casting spells. He's not making voodoo or hoodoo, folks. He's doing what he calls his haunted creations. And Vince, I'll let you have the floor on that, on exactly what that is you're doing, please.
So here this month we're going to be at a location called the Fairfield County Infirmary, and Fairfield is owned and operated by Adam Kimmel. If you know anything about Adam Kimmel, he also owns Madison Seminary. He helps book private overnights and things at Indiana State Sanatorium, Stark Saloon, Pine Lawn Manor, and a bunch of others. But Fairfield County Infirmary is having their yearly annual FCI Con. And what I do for my table, so I will go to these conventions just simply to plug my social media and stuff like that. And just to make my booth back, I will go into said location with permission to obtain debris.
Ooh.
And when I say debris, I mean everything from wallpaper,
decent,
wow,
to paint chips,
wow,
to concrete, dirt, whatever is synonymous with said location. And I will turn them into, I will take that debris and put them into resin molds, or I will put them into jewelry. The one that one of the items I'm working on right now is a necklace urn that has paint chips from Fairfield inside.
Wow.
And that urn is a necklace as well. And I can show you another item at the moment. Actually, I'll show you two. So the skull.
Wow.
Yep.
Has paint chips
That is so cool.
but it has paint chips from Fairfield inside.
Okay.
And same thing with,
Good question.
it's a trinket box,
Yep.
but it's a coffin.
Wow.
That's brilliant.
Absolutely. And that is so creative on your part to be able to do this and preserve some of that location, because even every little piece that you get, it's got a piece of history attached to it.
Absolutely.
And we got a question on the side
Sure.
from Posh Seller 222. And what a great question. Thank you for asking. Does bringing the debris home bring you any haunting I'm trying to read this home. If you bring any of the debris home, has there ever had any haunted experiences, I guess, or hauntings attached to them?
From debris, no. However, I have brought bricks home from locations.
Bricks?
Bricks.
Yes.
My plan with the bricks was to get enough to build a fire pit.
Wow.
But so like after I get like enough bricks from haunted location or abandoned locations, whichever one, once I have enough, then I will make a fire pit with said bricks. I have a Mason background, so is my dad. But not from debris. However, I have a hospital gown from Waverly when Waverly was Woodhaven Geriatric Services.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And I have a wheelchair from Waverly in my living room, along with a coffin.
Yeah.
And have I ever gotten paranormal activity from the debris? No. Do I believe that I've gotten paranormal activity from the other items? Yes. My son is always running to me and screaming about who he heard running up and down the hallways last night, or whatever the case. But not from debris, no.
What is Mr. Vince doing? Sam's pretty paranormal. You're about 10 minutes too late with that question. We did explain it. You'll have to play the replay back, and all your answers will be revealed.
But no, yeah. But I mean, that's like I said. That is so. Have you ever had? I could say, have you ever had an attachment from doing what you're doing?
No, but when I used to work at Waverly, so Tina used to watch my son and her son Joe. She used to watch her granddaughter and my son while Joe and I were working. And me and my son used to live at the bottom of the hill before the apartments were all cracked out with crazy people.
Oof.
Before it was all messed up.
Right. That's too bad.
Now I wouldn't set foot in those apartments down there. But she used to watch William all the time. William has been at Waverly, was at Waverly every single day because Tina used to watch him. And he would just be sitting out on the back porch with Tina's phone or with my phone or whatever, and just watching whatever. And there was one occurrence when this has two parts to the story. There was one occurrence where I think he was about 4. I want to say he was 4 years old. He was out on the balcony. He was watching cars. And I walked outside on the balcony, and he was talking to somebody. I said, "William, who are you talking to?" And he said, "Jamie." And I said, "Okay, well, wrap up your conversation with Jamie. We're gonna go." And he was like, "Okay." So the same night, I wake up about 3 o'clock in the morning to hear William in his room talking to somebody.
Ooh.
I go into his room. William, who are you talking to? And he said, Jamie.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Now, these apartments used to be Waverly property.
Mm.
Everything around that area was Waverly. I mean, they had 65 acres or something. Actually, I think it was a lot more, maybe 200 something. So I just I did a little thing. I didn't know if it was going to work or if it was going to go over well, and I just kind of said, Jamie, you this is our home. You're welcome to talk to William at your home, but not in my home. So in the morning, you and I are going to take a trip back home to your home, and we are going to, and you're going to stay there. You can talk to William while you're at home, but you can't talk to him at our home. And that next morning, got up, got ready, and I said, okay, Jamie, it's time to go. Never heard anything else from Jamie again. Then about 2 years ago, William was asking me if he could go to work with me, and it was Easter Sunday. I had to go up to Waverly for something. I think it was to get time cards or something. While we were up there, William hadn't been there in years, so I was taking him around. After I got the time cards thing settled, I was taking him around, and we were on the 4th floor, and I was just kind of showing him how tour routes worked now and how things were going and stuff. And I was telling him about a little experiment we did on the 4th floor. And I heard a small voice of what sounded like a young boy in real time, no equipment, say, hi. I looked over at William, and he looked over at me, and he was pale as a ghost. And he was like, you heard that too? Now, taking consideration when William talked to Jamie, William was 4 years old.
Yep.
He goes, did you hear that? And I said, yeah. And he goes, do you think it was Jamie? William is now 13 years old. And at the time of the second incident, he was 11.
Wow.
From the time he was 4 years old to the time he was 11, he remembered Jamie.
Wow. That's amazing.
Good story.
Waverly is a whole different breed of wild.
And that's like, you hear a lot of those stories, like kids being able to talk to the other side, like just like they're real. And I mean, he probably saw him and everything, but it's so amazing that many years apart and he still remembered him. And I mean, that means that he created such a bond with Jamie that's a truly amazing story to come out of that. I mean, how he's still around and he's still there.
Yeah.
So
I didn't say anything to the people that was with me the other night, but I was walking down the 4th floor the other night, and I heard somebody say, "Hey," and it sounded like a young. I didn't say nothing to nobody when I was there, just because it was a personal experience.
Right.
Yep.
But I didn't really think about it until now. Maybe it was him again.
Well, I mean, you treated him with respect and said, "Hey, you know what? Welcome to for tonight. You can stay, but tomorrow you got to go back home, and this is where you got to stay." And I mean, and that's the thing, is kind of putting up those boundaries of where they can be and where they cannot be. And like you said, it was a whole respecting, and he probably respects you for that. And now he still sees you after all this time. Now, I know you do events. You have a few events coming up. I would love to give you that opportunity to plug one, because I know there was one that I saw on your social media that you're going to be working with Ashley, doing something for Dan Class and his family.
Yeah. So August 2nd, Urban Investigations is going to be with Ashley Marino. And all profits go to Dan and his family for Shaylee to help pay medical bills and expenses for her bone cancer treatment. And that'll be at the Madison Seminary from 6 to 11. If you purchase a VIP ticket, then you're able to stay till 3 in the morning. Tickets for general admission is $65, and then the VIP aspect is $100. But that won't be the only one coming up soon. Obviously, Dan is good friends to anyone who is friendly and who's nice. For anyone who doesn't know, Dan is the owner of the Hinsdale House, and he does really great things out there. He does great things for everybody else. Anytime there's a GoFundMe for somebody in need, he's always one of the first people. I feel like now is our time to give back to Dan. I didn't come up with this event myself. Ashley was like, "Help me," and I was like, "Okay, let's just kind of collaborate. Let's just kind of collaborate this and turn it into a thing." So it was like one of those things like, just message me for tickets. Well, we've got an Eventbrite up, and like I said, all proceeds go to helping out Shaylee and her medical bills and everything else. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And Adam Kimmel and Addie and them, they were gracious enough to game recognizes game essentially. And Dan is just such a good person in the community that I think has made everyone want to help.
Absolutely.
I am actually, as soon as I am off with you guys, I have to go take pictures of the coffin in the living room because I'm going to put that up for sale for about $2,000 and give Dan half of the proceeds for that.
Wow.
One reason is because there probably shouldn't be a coffin in my living room when my son is still not of age. And number two, I know people look at the GoFundMe and say, wow, $25,000, that was really quick. You have no idea how much cancer treatment costs.
Absolutely.
And the fact that he started only asking for $10K is absurd, because Dan and them are about ready to be in it for the long haul for a lot of years, and the cancer treatment can cost an upwards of $500,000. And it's not an easy battle by any means. My grandmother had thyroid cancer, and she fought it for about 3 years before she passed on. And she's easily $200,000. Easy.
Yes. We do have a donate button on the side. We've got the QR code that will go right to the GoFundMe page.
Yep.
So once again, to our listeners and anybody who's out there, yes, please. Dan is always there first to help anybody who needs it. Like I said, class act guy, had a chance to investigate the Hinsdale house. And just over the years, going to all kinds of conventions, Dan's everywhere, talking about ghost finders and talking about the Hinsdale house. Like I said, you're right, Vince. He is the first person to help out those who are in need. So yeah, it's the paranormal community is definitely behind Dan and his family and Shaylee at this time to go through this process. And like I said, I don't know what it's like in the United States for cancer treatments. I know what I went through here in Canada with my father passing away of cancer and several friends passing away with cancer, and the treatment is very, very expensive. So yeah, please, once again, go over, check out Vince's site, buy tickets at this event. come on down. It not only do you get a chance to investigate a great location, you get to see Vince and Ashley in person do their thing, and also at the same time, you know your money's going to go to help a great family and a special
Absolutely.
little girl, because yeah, that's Dan's heart right there. So
Yeah.
so yeah, no, thank you so much for just being a part of the community and doing what you're doing, because like I said, it seems to be the upcoming thing is the urban explorer thing. Um, and
Taking over.
we love what you're doing, and like I said, bringing light to a lot of great locations.
Mm-hmm.
So for those that are wanting to follow you, check you out, please plug yourself away so that we can keep following your journey through this great paranormal experiment, not really experiment, this paranormal journey.
So you can find me on all socials going to the urbaninvestigator.com. My link tree is on there as well. It'll take you to literally everything that I do on every single platform. Everything from ghost hunting to urban exploring to I'm a fucking nutcase. So I do a bunch of goofy shit too. I have random drops like this, like what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
I'll have random drops online that you never know when it's going to come, and I'll just be like 10 pieces from so and so location dropping right now.
Nice.
And you'll never know unless you're not following or you're not subscribed or whatever the case, and they go fast. It's taking a piece of history, a piece of a piece of location, piece of history home with you. But long form content has been on the back burner because we are filming this year for a TV show coming out at the beginning of next year.
Nice.
So for anyone who watched 28 Days Haunted or Holzer Files, Shane Pittman is the backer for Shane Pittman and his partner Josh Purvis are the backer for this network that the TV show is going to be on. And I can also tell you, without telling you names, that there's going to be a lot of names on this network that you're very familiar with in the paranormal.
Wow, that's exciting. I look forward to seeing that for sure. Any places, any events that you're going to be at, so people want to just come down and check out your booth, get a piece of history with this art that you're making with us right now, or whatever other location you're going to be at?
Yep. So we will be at FCICon. We will be at MagCon and ISSCon. Those, see, look, I just get shit everywhere. We will be at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. We will be at Michigan Paracon.
Yes.
And I don't know if I'm allowed to say the other one. That'll just be an announcement for a later date.
All right, cool. I just want to thank you, Vince, so much for taking the time and bringing us into your exciting world. You are truly amazing. You are definitely a guy that's out there doing it and bringing the spotlight to many great locations and
Thank
all
you.
the work that you're doing. So yeah, people, once again, go to Vince's website, check out all his social medias, find out what he's doing, any event that he's doing, especially the one that's coming up in August. Check that out. Help Dan out. Help out the family. Help Shiley, more importantly. And at least if you cannot donate, go to the
Share.
GoFundMe page and just share out the link.
Absolutely.
It's not all about the dollars. It's about getting the word out.
Yep.
So thank you, Vince, once again. We look forward to seeing you down the road.
Of
At
course.
this point, Michael John, it's all you, buddy.
Mr. Vince, I have so much scribbling here. Vince, how do I say your last name again before I butcher it and then you want to kick my ass backstage?
It's Kelien.
It is
Kelien.
Kelien. Jesus Christ.
Kelien.
Yeah, I got you. Perfect. Okay. There, so I can do the outro here proper. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you so much to our guest, the urban investigator, Vince Kelien, an outstanding individual in the paranormal community for sure. We've learned so much. What a learning tree right now. This guy is historically correct, to say the least. We got put on our place a couple times tonight, and I love it. That's what this is about, learning and growing one way or the other. That's why we put this show on, because everybody out there listening, they want to learn. We want to learn. And we all get together. And this isn't us sitting here, ABCD 1, 2, 3 questionnaire. This is a few people sitting around the living room. Literally, Vince is sitting in his living room or wherever, and he's making stuff. That's how laid back this show is, folks. I love it. His haunted creations, if you will, as he calls them, talk about something cool and unique. And I think Vince Kelien, you are a very cool and unique individual yourself. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
The TPV Nation, the creeps, the freaks, and the weirdos appreciate your time. Watch the replay, folks. If you don't get a chance to watch this, you're catching it the last few minutes in. This has been a hell of a show. Or if you want, KGRA Digital, Saturday nights, 1 a.m. But in the meantime, and between, cut that part. We will see you all on the other side. But in the meantime and in between time, happy hauntings.
Happy hauntings.